On the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. I do think Donald Trump's actually setting us up to help bust open the disclosure thing. Now, I'm not trying to be clickbaity, and this is definitely not the point of the entire video. I'll show you exactly where in my show this story is for anybody that I picked up along the way. If you like what I'm talking about, though, I would love it if you'd subscribe and check it out. But I talk about news, and we certainly open it up to all sorts of woo and everything in between. But we've got a lot to talk about. I got a lot of video to share, and a potential interesting avenue that Trump is going right now that I think might actually open up the door for disclosure. And we'll talk about it a little bit because I think it's an important topic. All said, let's get the ball rolling. Started off here with, again, Marco Rubio being just a freaking funny-ass dude. He's got funny written on top of funny. I love it. Check him out.
So, Marco, go ahead.
Well, Mr. President, first of all, everyone's made this comment already and needs to be echoed again. You were elected as the president of working Americans, and that's why this Labor Day is so meaningful. For me personally, this is the most meaningful Labor Day of my life as someone with 4 jobs. And so... It's true.
I love it. Donald Trump's like, that's true. Dude's got 4 jobs. He's busting his buns, working harder than many of us. Google warns us 2.5 billion Gmail users have to update their passwords after hackers have completed a successful intrusion. I'm not trying to freak people out. I'm going to tell you, you should change your password. I've certainly got the emails. You probably got the emails too. Check. You can see where got compromised, and so that's one thing that might be helpful. In my particular situation, a thing that got compromised is like a test server I was on like years ago, and the password's like ridiculous. So whatever. But what I do want to think or stress or let people know, and this is one of the biggest problems that exists with any tech companies that are out there. Anything. One of the reasons why I don't necessarily like the cryptos as much either, because you've got a lot of these places where you have employees that work at every single facility, whether it's your actual wallet. There's a person that's a company that sponsors your wallet. There's somebody that works there. Whether or not it's the exchange, somebody that works there. Now, people could say the same thing for banks. Banks actually have a lot of things in place that make it very difficult to just steal people's money. You can get people to send it to you willingly or give you their bank account information, and people just lose it that way. But it's a little bit trickier, and there are some things in place that try to make that difficult. In a lot of tech companies, there aren't. Frankly, people get emails while they work there. I've worked at tech companies. You get emails from people that are fishing for information. They want you to click on the links. A lot of companies actually try to train their people on how to better spot this behavior, but it's very common. And all it takes is one person with decent access and lets them in. And once that happens, you lose a whole bunch of secure data and or worse. So this is essentially what happened. Someone at Google got spammed, and they fell for it and gave up the keys to the palace. There's nothing you can do about this. This just sucks. So this is one of my biggest concerns with crypto and stuff similar to that, by the way. It's also one of the reasons why I hate social media and a lot of the things there too, because I think people try to get into people's accounts frequently. It's not uncommon anyways. Cyber attack caused Nevada state's offices to close for 2 days this week, and rendered some state websites and phone lines unavailable. Again, another phishing occurrence that happened with the Nevada state office. All it takes is one idiot, no offense, one person that gets tricked. I'm not trying to say you're an idiot, but one person that gets tricked with reasonable access, and the rest is history. Shut down the state websites for 2 days. No one bitching about that, though, right? Power restored after massive dust storm sweeps Phoenix, grounding a bunch of flights. Pretty severe storm came through. I don't see if we got the... here's it kind of coming in. Many would say, was it Saudi Arabia? Nope. It's right here, Phoenix, Arizona.
roads. Heavy rain, lightning, and thunderstorms followed soon after, grounding flights at Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport. For nearly an hour, planes were halted while crews worked to inspect roof leaks and damage caused by the storm. Winds around 70 miles per hour downed trees, damaged buildings, and knocked out power to more than 60,000 customers, mostly in Maricopa County. By Tuesday morning, thousands were still without electricity, according to poweroutage.us. Police.
Wow, that's just craziness, right? That's just craziness. Oh, that's my girl Tiffany. Oh, I didn't get to hear Tiffany. Bruce Willis, guys, man, this is sad. I don't know if you know this. He's in a home right now. His dementia is hardcore. His wife doesn't know his wife anymore, doesn't know his kids. Bruce Willis is going. Just preparing you guys for this. I don't know. He was a hero of mine as a child. I remember him from, what was it, Moonlighting? Remember that stupid sitcom he was on? Man, I remember him from then. I like Bruce Willis. He has a crazy life with the wife he had and had the kids with, and then she married Ashton Kutcher. Anyway, whatever. I don't try to make sense of this nonsense. SpaceX did finally launch its rocket, and oddly, completely and totally successful. By the way, I will say this is definitely a fisheye lens, but needless, doesn't take away from what I think is actually cool about this. This is the moment where they flipped it around and started their re-entry. No, I guess there's no
ship ignition. Boost back burn startup. Stage separation.
Stage separation confirmed. We've got 6 engines running on ship. Booster is doing its boost back burn, continuing now towards its splashdown site in the Gulf. We are seeing all 6 Raptors lit up on ship.
Boost back burn. That sounds like that Biden thing. That broke back. What was his thing? Broke back. Break back. Brokeness. Break back. Bring back my brokenness. I don't know. Whatever it was. This was the final part where they were trying to bring it down. They wanted to test whether they could get it into like just a few engines, and then they wanted to do 1 from the central ring and 2 from the center ring. Anyway, it was just cool. I'm geeking out a little.
All right, here we go.
Landing burn startup.
Looks like we got 12 of those 13.
Down to 3, including 1 of the middle ring. Down to 2. Nice little hover. And landing burn shutdown. And into the Gulf, here we come.
Part of me likes the fact that they're excited, yay! But the other part of me, like, really kind of ruins the video to a degree. But I get they're excited, man. This is a big damn deal. I believe the first 9 of these Super Heavies blew up. So this is the first one that actually made it all the way through its mission. They were testing all sorts of new tiles for heat resistance, testing a whole bunch of really cool stuff. They did all sorts of funky on this particular ship, and it's cool. They made it. They couple delays getting it up, and they made it. So good, groovy. I'm only bringing up the Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift engagement for one reason. Remember how one of the conspiracy theories we had going on back during the last Super Bowls was they were going to break up after the Super Bowl? You guys remember that? I just want to point out all the places where we're not always right, because I think a lot of us have gotten a little arrogant with our, there's no such thing as coincidence. Sometimes I guess maybe there are. I don't know. Travis Kelce, they're engaged now, right? So, okay. Apparently, Taylor Swift used numerology to pick her engagement announcement date. Also saying, she's a billionaire, by the way, guys. I will say it's probably the one thing I actually admire about her. She was owned by the record label. She got shafted on her record deal, which most musicians do. Very rare that you don't. Very few of them are able to become powerful enough to actually get out of that. Prince being one of them, dead. Michael Jackson being one of them, dead. Taylor Swift being one of them, still alive. I don't know who else, but, that generally those artists don't stay alive too terribly long. Taylor Swift, her music label owned all of her albums. And that kind of sucks. When you've created them, you've written them, they're yours. So what she ended up doing is she ended up re-recording them as new singles, re-releasing them under her own label, and made gazillions of dollars. So she is, I believe, a billionaire. which is pretty awesome, considering she's created it and she's 27 or something. I don't know. She's young, very young lady. So whatever. Even Trump's like saying nice stuff about him. Apparently, Cracker Barrel nuked their woke logo. They're bringing back the old timer, the old cracker with the barrel. So now it's going to be truly a Cracker Barrel. Steak and Shake's actually having some fun at their expense, which is very cool. The current owner or CEO, one of the two, of Steak and Shake is poking all sorts of fun, which is cool. Again, like I said, I appreciate that. I don't know why there's so much hatred towards this lady. She's got wonderful boobies, that's for sure. There's no reason to hate her. No reason to hate her at all. So Cracker Barrel, I don't know. Again, I don't care. I've been to Cracker Barrel, but I know this matters to a lot of people, so there you go. There you go. San Francisco has a black market for housing. It's just trippy. There's like 50,000 properties still, unauthorized units that still exist in the city to this day. This goes back way back because they've been effing with this city forever. Gavin Newsom was a part of a bunch of these changes that have really cinched us in, but there's literally people that build structures and then hide how many units they actually have. One, for permitting purposes. Two, I think probably so they can rent them out differently and stuff like that. But whatever the case is, it's out of control. That's for sure. Female students seeking bathroom privacy out in Temecula Valley School District here in Southern California. It's out by Riverside. If they actually don't want to use the restroom where the transgender men can use as well, they, the girls, need to fill out a mental health accommodation request because there's something wrong with their mental health. Not the transgender individual that wants everybody to believe that a boy is a girl. That person doesn't have any mental health issues. But the people that question what the crazy person in the room says, they've got mental health issues. Very well done. Very well done, Temecula. We'll see what you guys do about it. California Republicans file second lawsuit against state redistricting push. The Republicans are, in fact, fighting this. It is, they say, against the Constitution. Constitution says an independent group is supposed to be able to draw these lines, and Gavin Newsom is trying to get around that. What Gavin Newsom is doing versus what Texas did, what Gavin Newsom's doing is actually worse, because he's literally trying to get around a constitutional mandate. When in fact, Texas, it's completely and totally legal what they did. There's no issues whatsoever. Here, this will have to go to the Supreme Court and everything else. We'll, again, see how things play out. Oh, by the way, for people that got roped into the thumbnail, here's where the story's at. It's over here, right? I'm over here right now. When I get to here, TN, thumbnail, there you go. There's my story. So if you guys want to just jump ahead, feel free. New York State trying to restore welfare access for illegal immigrants. The Federation for American Immigration Reform recently submitted a federal court briefing challenging the New York's request to restore Trump administration funding, which was suspended after the state refused to say whether it was still providing public health benefits to illegal aliens. They're actually literally going after the federal government to bring those monies. Now, we've got a really cool case coming up somewhere over in here where a dude breaks it down, and it's one of the cases that's been brought before the Supreme Court, or is going before the Supreme Court, and the district judge just nails the appellate judge nails the district judge. Oh, it's brutal. It's brutal. And it's in the same general vein, where they're trying to force them to spend money they have no jurisdiction to even touch, yet here they are. Oh, it's fantastic. So we're starting to kick some ass, that's for sure. MSNBC, which I think it's MS Now, or it's going to be soon, they got fact-checked hard by this governor, former governor, Democrat governor, and all this talk about how this is a manufactured crisis in Washington, D.C., well, that's getting a few people a little pissed off, even Democrats. I got a couple examples. Here's one.
Governor, look, you understand very clearly what it means when the National Guard comes into your state, what it means when it comes in to a community. Donald Trump essentially said today that, you know what, not only was he not happy that he wasn't being thanked for this, he suggested that there are people who want a dictator. He says, I'm not a dictator. I'm being accused of being a dictator. But some people may want someone to come in and take control. So I wonder how you see this and what the options are for governors in this case.
Well, I mean, I have to tell you, I have such a different take than what we've just heard. They talk about a manufactured crisis. Have you been in Chicago? Have you been in Baltimore? But my daughter went to school in Chicago. I remember the day she graduated, there were shootings and killings right outside of her building. And in Baltimore, I have friends that go down to Johns Hopkins, get treated for medical conditions. I mean, they are nervous about ever going there. There are parts of Baltimore that he tells me he wouldn't go into. And this is not some right-wing person. This is somebody who wants to be able to go into some of our great cities and be able to be safe. Now, I do think it's important that if you're going to do this, you've got to define the mission. You've got to talk about your authority. And I think one of the earlier guest was saying that, well, maybe there's narrow ways to do it. I agree with that, but that just then says that there are ways to do it. And if I had a crisis in Cleveland, we thought we were going to have riots or in Columbus or whatever, I would never have put, the fact that, well, I'm governor, so I would want to work with other people who wanted to help me. And look, what's been happening in Chicago has been terrible. The crime rate is high. The gang problem is real. I tried to get Arnie Duncan, the former education secretary under Obama, to run for mayor. He's out there trying to work to get, to deal with the gang problem. He didn't want to do it. But I think Chicago is a jewel of America. We just cannot let lawlessness and fear dominate these cities. So, yeah, I think we need to know what the mission is. I think we need to know what the authority is. I think we need to know what the length is. But the idea that these cities are somehow fine, I think you're
I don't
just,
think
you're
anybody,
whistling.
Listen,
I heard the
take your
word
point.
manufacturing crisis. This is a manufactured crisis. No, it's not. It is a crisis. There are
Go
people
ahead, Basil.
at
You're
risk in
dying to
these
jump in
cities.
here.
She even spun it back on him because she was like, bah, 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 bah. And he's like, you're the one that said manufactured crisis, biatch. Not me. We're not spinning this out of control. It's you that spun it out of control. De Blasio's even bitching about it. There's no way in hell I'm going to put you guys through the 7 minutes of this douchehole talking. I couldn't get past 3.5. And he still didn't get to the headline. But he's saying people have to be much more honest, or as my girlfriend would say, honest. She says those silent H's pretty hard. 10 cities with the highest crime rates, in case you were curious. Memphis, Tennessee. Great song in Graceland, right? Detroit, Baltimore, Kansas City, Missouri, Milwaukee, Albuquerque, Houston, Nashville, Denver, D.C. at number 10. Not anymore anyways, but it was. So, again, we've made a lot of progress. NBC News posted this out. Researcher who has distorted voter data appointed to Homeland Security election integrity role. Can't believe someone so horrible that constantly said the elections were a fraud is being promoted by Trump. Well, guess what? She has been. That's fantastic. The person we would want to see in there. He was involved in the 2020 election and all that fun stuff that happened. Pennsylvania activist Heather Honey, is now serving as the Deputy Assistant Secretary for Election Integrity in the department's Office of Strategy, Policy, and Plans. So, yes, very, very cool stuff. Uh-oh. Is this going to come in? Oh, we got MyPillow. Got MyPillow going on here, folks. I just want to let you know we've got a sweet deal. And I've got MyPillow. Mike Lindell was on today. And so we had some really, really cool conversations about the elections, about what's going on. And so I just wanted to cover a couple of the key sales. He's going to talk about the per kale sheet at the end. It's a little long, and I apologize, guys. You can skip ahead if you don't want to see it, but it is so good. Me and Mike have the best conversations. I absolutely love it. And they give us the sweetest deals. This OTF coupon code right here, that's not it. Nope, that's not it. Right here, this is going to be it. There you go. MyPillow.com/OTF. MyPillow.com/OTF. There's an 800 number up here, too. If you want to order, 1-800-544-8939. 1-800-544-8939. These per kale sheets this is the sweetest deal ever. And while supplies last. You do not want to wait on those because whatever size it is that you want or color you want, I don't know. You better hurry because people like that color too. They got the employee pricing on the pillows. Again, the best slippers, the best pillows, best towels, 50% off beach towels. He also talks about this energy drink is so incredible, and it is so good. You can get that free 3-pack. They're just throwing that in, I think, with a lot of people, so you can try it out. It's incredible. You can tell me which flavor you think is the best. Again, all the greatest stuff. I want you guys to hear our interview, and here is my good friend, at least I like to say that, Mr. Mike Lindell. ladies and gentlemen, once again, I'm happy to have one of my best people, my best friends, I want to say, Mike Lindell. It's super nice to have you. How are you, sir? You've got stuff to share, I'm sure.
Right on. Doing pretty good. Thanks for having me on.
Awesome. Yeah, well, we had a couple things that we thought would be fun to talk about. Well, we should talk about. I don't want to say fun because there's a lot of craziness going on in the world. There's a lot of things to be focused on and that we need to try to make better and improve. And there's been a horrific tragedy that's actually happened in your state today. In Minneapolis, church pews, children were in their pews, and someone came in and started shooting up the place. I don't know if you've got any information on that or what you wanted to say in regards to that, sir.
Yeah, well, that will kind of tie in with what I always talk about is securing our elections, getting rid of the voting machines, getting the paper ballots hand counted. But yeah, in my home state and lived there all my life, down there, downtown Minneapolis again, and this horrific shooting. It's so sad. Either 2 or 3 are killed, and it was a mass shooting again. And realize in Minnesota, Minneapolis, the nonsensical decisions to defund the police. Remember the summer of 2020, everybody, when they burned down Minneapolis. Remember, I used to live down there. I'm an ex-crack cocaine addict. When I came out of that, so many of my friends down there that were dealers changed their life, became born-again Christians, started businesses there on Lake Street. We helped out Teen Challenge and Union Gospel and Salvation Army. I was doing all of these things that we were doing down there. And then you get to the summer of 2020 where they burned down Minneapolis. So one of the things remember, the governor and the mayor just let the precinct burn, defund the police, get rid of the police. Well, as you see right now, I could go, for the past 4.5 years, just the list is just horrific of these decisions made by our governor and our mayor. And but you see what the manifestation when you have no police, they're short police as we speak. I don't know if they got, the calls came in. I don't know. We're waiting on details, but regardless, the reports are coming out that they're short, they're short police. That's a known fact in Minneapolis. People are scared to live down there. It's all changed because of these decisions. Basically, it's like, why are you trying to ruin our state and our city? It brings up another thing too. This makes me one step closer to running for governor. I prayed about it. My wife and I have. I think we're going to make the decision here within about 7 to 10 days. But things like this are going. Things have to change. Minnesota has become. There's a lot of other things too going on. Everybody in Minnesota, where we're kind of the tip of the spear. Everyone says, "Well, I don't." The next California or Colorado is, and there's a lot of other stuff in Minnesota. Don't kid yourself. Why Tim Walz is in the public eye every day doing something completely nonsensical. Absolutely. You wouldn't even believe some of his stuff 10 years ago. You're going, oh, this guy's a politician. It's evil. It's wrong. And
he's so blatantly wrong too. He's horribly wrong. It's weird.
It's so blatantly wrong. But I'm going to read you something, you guys. Now we're going to talk about where all of this, everything you see happening, I don't care what it is, it comes down to the most important thing for our country, that's getting rid of the electronic voting machines and going to paper ballots, hand counted. There's nothing more important than that. And in a poll, I'm going to tell everybody a couple things about, we'll use Minnesota for example. I just did some polls whether to run for governor or not. And one of the polls was, your biggest issues coming up. It's usually, is your one important to you? Is it abortion? Is it the borders? Is it the economy?
Or firearms.
Well, guess what cracked the top 3 or firearms? What cracked the top 3 was our election platforms.
Amen.
And then they did another poll in Louisiana or was it Arkansas? It might have been Arkansas. 66%, they got a county that put it on their ballot. 66% want to get rid of the electronic voting machine. That's it. If that's everywhere. And here's what just happened in Minnesota a couple weeks ago. Everybody might have seen it. We have probably one of the worst mayor, the far left as you can get, nonsensical. That you can't even make the stuff up how bad he is. But,
New York's competing with you, though, Mamdani. He might very well actually be worse than your communist governor.
Right.
Or mayor.
Right.
Governor.
Well, anyway, so the mayor candidate, Omar Fateh or whatever, how do you say his name, who's a socialist, about, when you're sitting there going, okay, I believe this almost was a God thing. All of a sudden, he wins, and his own party, the Democrats, here's what they pulled his endorsement or whatever, and it says, here's what it says: the campaign said. They put in a challenge to overturn Fateh's endorsement. The campaign said there was an extraordinarily high number of uncounted votes produced by the highly flawed electronic voting system used at the convention. You guys, it's everywhere. And these are Democrats now. And, here's a candidate that would be, if they found one worse than our mayor now, they did. But by the grace of God, the machines did not work, or they didn't see, or they found they were able to open up, say, hey, somebody cheated here. Those machines are wrong. But and the Democrats have been, remember everybody, who's the biggest blockers of these machines? Uniparty Republicans, bar none. As we speak, right now, the president, you just seen Tulsi Gabbard yesterday come out with, hey, there's all these burn bags. Everyone know what a burn bag is, everybody. And when you go to delete or you go to shred papers and stuff, if there's too much, you got to use these burn bags. Your initials got to go on. You put them in these burn bags. They go back 8 years. This is crazy. They're finding all these burn bags about the elections and the election and the cheating and the election platforms. She announced this yesterday, you seen from the White House. And but prior to that, last week, the president puts out a thing. He says, hey, we're going to get rid of voting machines and we're going to go to paper ballots hand counted. How many governors have came forward of the Republicans said, I'm with you, Mr. President? Ready, everybody?
Zero. Yeah.
Zero. They're disgusting. You go down to Louisiana, that Secretary of State down there says, we got a thing from the White House saying we're okay to go buy new machines. No, that's not what the letter says. You're lying there, Miss Secretary of State. And I've reached out to my good friend, Jeff Landry, who's the governor there. Now, we text at Christmas, and so we text all the time. Well, he hasn't answered me for now over a month. Mr. Governor, Jeff, if you're watching, I'm reaching out to you, and I'm not going to go away.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go away. I'm here. I'm going to find you, and you're going to take my call. And you can't just hide from this. You know it's a big problem. Him and I worked together in Louisiana to get rid of these machines. I worked with the governor. This is when he was the attorney general. We worked against the crooked Secretary of State there at that time, Kyle Ardwin.
We obviously know they have hugely deep pockets, those electronic voting machine companies. You've obviously been embroiled in
still fighting them.
Yeah, giant pain in the you-know-what there. And these guys have deep money and deep ties. I think they've, much like pharmaceutical and everything else, they've paid money into people's pockets, and then all of a sudden now they don't want to say anything negative. I tell you, I've been saying I think the Senate's probably the worst. I think that when you go into 6 years of being voted in, you're probably so deep. I mean, the 2-year people in the House, I think, have a harder time getting established the same way. But, yeah, I think we've got a mess with these voting machines. They've got to go.
Yeah, they've got to go. And you guys have said this before, if you're watching this show. Our president didn't say 2028. He said they got to go by the midterms here. They need to go before the primaries, everybody. And everyone that thought it was an impossibility, it's not. We have a hand-counted system in every single state. My team's on the ground. Everything that everything we've prepared the last 4.5 years for, this is turnkey. This is turnkey. Anyone that tells you any different, or any of these politicians that we're going to start calling out, like Sarah Sanders in Arkansas.
Yeah,
she's
a weird one.
Why is she
one you wouldn't have expected?
Why are any of these governors not coming forward in these red states and going, "Hey, we're with you, Mr. President"?
Yeah.
And this goes for every single red governor. I think you're almost going to get Democrat governors coming out because they're all saying, "Hey, the election could have been stolen by machines with Donald Trump." Yeah, they could have been. When they asked me, do you trust the 2024 election? I said, I don't ever, knowing what I know, I don't trust any election ever done with computers.
It's got to be contractual, though, right? I mean, the fact, how can they not? The evidence is overwhelming. Yet they won't even say anything negative about it, Mike. That's like that. That's what I think is more baffling than the fact that they're still in the state. It's the fact that they don't or can't say anything about them.
Yeah, it's like the hidden that's not talk about this.
Yeah.
It kind of goes back to where there's a little lawfare that's left out there. There's, lawfare.
People are scared.
People are afraid of, I'm not going to jump on Mike Lindell's train. I'm not going to jump on the president's train. If I say the word Dominion or ES&S or Smartmatic, they're going to sue me. You guys, believe me, they're running. They're reeling. Smartmatic's been caught for so many crimes now, it's ridiculous. You just don't hear about it from where? From the fake news media. You don't hear from them. And where else don't you hear about these from? It would take in 5 minutes if Newsmax, Salem Media, or Fox News started reporting on this stuff about the election, about these machines, and that we got to go to paper ballots. Our great president, when he said that about a week ago, when he was up in Alaska and he's on Hannity, and he put it right out there and said, we got to get rid of the machines. We got voting machines and go to paper ballots. Sean Hannity didn't know what to say.
Well, and
did he just say that live to 100 million people? Yes, he did.
And let's be honest, though, Mike. I mean, Lindell TV wouldn't be rocking and rolling like it is right now if those guys were telling the truth. Nor would I be doing as well as I am right now. Exactly. Again, I mean, we're in a weird time. Yeah. They don't talk about it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And as our voice keeps getting bigger and bigger, everybody, it's because of these stations that have turned into weather channels that don't report hurricanes or tornadoes. Yeah, people are getting their information from all the social media platforms, podcasts. Look what just happened to Old Country Buffet. I mean, not Old Country
Cracker
Buffet,
Barrel?
Cracker Barrel.
Yeah.
Cracker Barrel. I mean, Old Country Store, Cracker Barrel. And then the president puts it out there, hey, this is an opportunity for you. And boom, it solved it solved the thing, but everybody spoke up. This is where you need to speak up, everybody. You want to speak up about something, you better start calling out companies like Dominion, Smartmatic, ES&S, and Hart, and get rid of these machines. These companies, everyone's afraid to talk about these companies, the flaws in them. You guys, your elections, our whole country's run by these 4 companies.
Yeah, and as I call in my audience, we need to ripple this, guys, a ripple effect, right? You throw a rock in the pond and it makes ripples, and that actually helps empower us as creators, right? Because it allows us to create these other people that are maximizing the sound. So we need to ripple the crap out of this, guys. We totally need to do. We need these machines got to go.
And I've been telling everybody, you guys want to. If you want to do that, I mean, what you do, go to any social media site, and you should be on all of them.
Hopefully.
I don't care if you have 10 friends on all of them. And every day, share stuff to get rid of these machines. And you can find the stuff. Go to any one of the platforms. I don't care if it's Getter, Gab, Truth, X, even Suckerbuck's Facebook, which I'm going after. But all these places, and just go there, find my thing, and reshare it. That's all I do.
Well, where's your thing? Share your thing.
I'm pretty focused on if you go to X, it's that real Mike Lindell. Whatever it is, you just share the post, because every one of my posts is what? We got to get rid of the machines. And it'll be a daily report of what's going on. Another thing you can really find, everybody, if my social media platform that I developed is Vocal, VOCL.com. That's all of your election. That's the Election Crime Bureau I started. Everything is there. It's a one-stop shop. You go there, you can find out what's going on in your own county. It's Cause of America throughout every single state. You want to know what's going on to our most important issue, you spend your time over at vocal.com. Any podcasts I do like yours, we're putting all this stuff. You can find all that over there. Everything's over there. It's a one-stop shop. You can beam down to your county. You can see where the successes are. And people go, well, why are you worried about Arkansas? It's a 68% red. It doesn't matter where we get the breakthrough, everybody. I don't care if it's in the middle of Minnesota or California or Maine. Once it breaks through, these dominoes are going to fall, and they're going to fall fast. Yeah. Everyone has been convinced now. They just did a poll. Like I think I said that 60-some% want to get rid of the machines. That was of the 2 polls we've heard of. And then another one is almost across the nation where these are voting platforms, some of the things that's their number one concern, which it should be number one everywhere. I don't care what party you're
Yeah,
in.
me too.
It
Yeah,
should be number one.
for sure.
It doesn't matter. All of the stuff that's good stuff that's going on, that's happening will be in vain if we don't secure elections, and we got to do it before these midterm. And that's why I believe it's going to happen. That's why I got to be proactive now and decide if I'm running for governor or not of Minnesota. But every day I see it, it's kind of like when with anything as a businessman, and the president and I talk all the time. It's like I see what he's, his problem solution, what will it manifest to? Well, if you remember back when he said he was running, he said, frankly, I don't think anyone else can do the job, right?
Yeah.
And I look at, and I said the same thing with the election platforms. This is not the governor thing, but it's kind of like the movie Armageddon, where they said, the guy, he says, I want my own crew. Quite frankly, I don't trust anyone else up there to do the job. Well, that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
We're 4.5 years ahead of everybody with this election platforms, evidence, proactive, what to put in, what to install in every state. We know every state's temperature on this, and so it's going to be.
We need to push for some hard decisions too, some actual changes. I mean, that's the thing, and I think everybody's afraid to do it, and we need people like you that aren't. We need people like you that are literally willing to, hop on that nuclear missile. I forget what that movie was back in the day, but when you rise the missile in, I mean, someone's got to do it. And Mike, I'm glad you're thinking about it. And to my audience, if you guys like Mike to do it, send some prayers, send some of that mental mojo, and I'll bet you what he'll end up there.
And if you guys want to help out, you can go to lindellplan.com. That's the Lindell Offense Fund. Everything we're doing that's going to save our country is right there. Go there, help out, at least learn the plan, at least pray. lindellplan.com. It's very simple URL. So
nice.
We've had, and so you guys can check that out. And
we got some sweet deals going on in the MyPillow world, or I've noticed the free shipping. You guys are hitting us with new digital coupons. I understand.
Yes, absolutely. We you guys are going to
Percale
get
sheets.
we got our sheets. We have basically 3 big sales going on right now. You guys, we're closing out our Percale sheet line. Once they're gone, they're gone. The king size, remember, $119.98. $29.98. Any size, any color, including the kings, $29.98. Once they're gone, they're gone. But right now, you get split kings, cal kings, king size, queen size, full size, twin extra long. For these, this is a lot of them. It's even below our cost. We're clearing out that line. We're raising capital. We're buying, to get our new our stuff in, because remember, we've been debanked, deplatformed, merchant server. We've been, you name it, it's happened. By the way, I want to tell this. Okay, so I'll get you the rest of the specials.
Sure.
We've got Rev 7, everybody. This energy drink. Remember, we ran out for about 3 because everybody wants it. No sugar, no caffeine. The best, most healthiest energy drink in history. It's got these BHB ketones. I don't get on anything that unless I 100% them all in. I drink it every day. It's amazing. It actually helps you instead of just keeps you all jittery and whatever and awake. But there's that. We give a 3-pack away free with any order, a 3-pack for you guys can try it out. Or if you just want that, you just pay a shipping charge and you're going to get that. You're going to try the 3 flavors. It's absolutely amazing. Another thing we're having is our pillows, the MyPillows, where the
employee
over
discount
80 million we've sold now. Yeah, the employee discount sale. You guys are getting them for what our employees get them for. So take advantage of that. That goes. You got the standard queens below $20. They got the king size. We've even got the body pillows. I believe $29.98.
Wow.
I mean, these are. And we've got the little mini pillows. We're doing a lot of fair specials too. We're at a lot of different fairs, so you're going to see. But go there, go to mypillow.com, and what's your promo code again?
OTF.
OTF, everybody. OTF. You remember to use that promo code. Call the 1-800 number if you got that. You got your 1-800 number. You can maybe post there. But
I'll show it to him when I show after.
You guys call that my mom and dads that work from home. I want to tell you, everybody, we've been the most attacked company in history, and I'm going to put this out. This is on your show right now. Okay, They're Bed Bath & Beyond. Remember, they were part of the big cancellation when MyPillow got canceled, and then they went into a Chapter 11 bankruptcy or whatever. We're not, but MyPillow was their number one selling product. They had walls of them at Bed Bath & Beyond. Two great companies working together, and they had their in January and February. They declared their Chapter 11. Well, there's a guy that's Marcos. Let me see what his name is here. Marcos or Marcus. Marcus Lamanis. He now is a conservative. He's bringing Bed Bath & Beyond back this month, everybody, physical stores across the country. So all of you could help out and help me. I'm trying to reach him. I would like him to say, hey, what a great thing that would be. It would be kind of like Cracker Barrel in reverse, right? It would be, hey, Bed Bath's coming back. We're going to welcome back MyPillow. And it would be a beautiful thing.
Yeah, they got a big extravaganza.
All the wokeness and cancellation they did to us, where Bed Bath, Kohl's, Costco, Walmart all did this horrific thing to MyPillow back in January of 21. This would be a good way to bring both, help MyPillow, help Bed Bath, which was a great company at one time before they went in, And but I can't reach the guy yet. So if all you want to go to his social media sites, it's Marcus. What did I just say? Marcus, Marcus, Lemonis, and he's on all social media. He's got a big podcast. This guy, when you see his picture, you're all gonna know him.
Ah, nice.
And we're gonna just start. I really want to at least talk to him and say, hey, this would be a great marketing thing. Hey, we're coming back and we're inviting back MyPillow. This would help MyPillow because we don't, we have very few retailers out there that. By the way, I will tell you this, everybody. Hamricks, if anyone knows what that is, they're bringing back all MyPillows, the whole line this week. It's like a relaunch there. They've been with us since the beginning, but they had a little gap there. There was some problems that that we had, and but they're back as of this in a couple weeks. So everybody, that's
wonderful.
I'm going to start shouting out these great retailers and stuff that welcome back and that all the stuff that happened in the past, because their CEO at MyPillow wanted to have secure elections.
Well, and you reward good behavior, right? I mean, that's the thing. So yeah, you want to try to re-partner back up. I understand it was a tricky time back then. MyPillow, or not MyPillow, but Bed Bath & Beyond. It was a tricky time, but we're not there anymore. It's a new world. And by the way, Mike, I got to point this out really fast. It's just funny. If you had the green screen thing on your computer turned on, your entire house would disappear. The color green you've got in the background. That was awesome. You would just literally be in space.
Right on.
Nothing would exist.
Right on.
Mike, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you and for everything you're doing. And I look forward to finding out about you running for mayor. I look forward to hearing.
No, governor, not mayor.
Governor. Sorry.
Wait, hey, guys,
come on, demoted him already. Damn, sorry, buddy.
Yeah, Tim Walsh, and look what he just did to everybody yesterday.
The communist.
He says, all you do is, it's easy to dress when you're a Republican, just put on your red hat. And I mean, he just badmouthed the half of the country, more than half the country. Just a disgusting guy.
He thinks men need tampons, so I don't know. There's something wrong with him to begin with. Well, Mike, thank you.
There's something very wrong.
Yeah, very wrong with him. You're welcome, sir. Thank you. Have a good one.
All right, thanks.
That was a fun interview. And again, a lot going on, a lot happening. Just the dude's involved, and now he's going to be running for governor. Which, I mean, if I'm gonna be honest, it's the first person for governor I've met yet in my life. Like, that's pretty cool. And for me, like, I've met a couple famous people in my life. I met ZZ Top and stuff. Radio. I got to meet some cool people every once in a while. But most of the time, I was like overnights. Like, nobody was there. Please. It was awesome. Again, great stuff. Go to mypillow.com/OTF. mypillow.com/OTF. Order now. Yeah, this is actually literally for my products. If you use this phone number, they'll be like, oh, you're with OTF, but still tell them OTF. Insist on it. But 1-800-544-8939. 1-800-544-8939. I don't know what they'll tell you, what secrets they have, who and where and what. We never know. This was DC's crime statistics are going to stun America. Steve Miller, I believe, is just kind of regaling us with what's coming. And I think many of us are, my audience specifically, are ready for this. Outside of that, this is going to be a shocker to a lot of people.
Additionally, and the president spoke about this, Additionally, and the president spoke about this before, we've uncovered, in the process of uncovering, a massive scandal in Washington, D.C. with the doctoring of crime stats. And the Department of Justice, under the Attorney General, is leading the effort to uncover this. But when we ultimately share the results, it will stun you. The extent to which, even though D.C. had the worst crime in America, honestly measured, it dramatically understated how bad it was. There's even accusations that murders and homicides were reported as accidents instead of murders. I mean, this is how severe the manipulation of the crime data has been in this city, and it will all be uncovered and it will all be brought to light.
It is exactly being that. A carjacking suspect arrested in D.C. said they always release me. I don't think I want to play that, but he said during a ride along U.S. Marshals in Washington, D.C., they said he's been arrested like 6 times for this. They said he gets out in 3 days. So we'll see. Does that stop? Hopefully. Hopefully that stops. That's how it should be. That's for darn diddly sure. Trump admin's going to take over control of Washington Union Station. I'm going to let my girl Alice Tang literally spend, I think it's about 7 seconds in her beautiful way. I think she's English as a second language. This is one of the other things I love about NTD News, just to give you guys insight into something you don't care about. But it's the way she tries to pronounce English words exactly like Americans. Like it's an American accent. I almost feel like, I think it's brilliant. I think it's beautiful. I think you and my other girl Tiffany, yes, you guys, I'm just saying. But anyways, 7 seconds.
The Transportation Department has announced plans to manage Washington's D.C.'s Union Station.
6 seconds, really. Yeah, the rest of it's a bunch of it's stupid. No offense. She does a brilliant job, but someone else starts talking, and I'm like, what? Who is this? I don't want to imagine them. Anyway, Union Station, he's taking it over. This is a weird time right now. So we've got military, quote unquote, moving into cities, specific cities right now, not that many. And I'm not getting hung up on the number. I think it was 19 or whatever. It wasn't 17. I heard 14 at first. And anyway, actually, that was the number 2 they did with the shootings. We'll get there. 14. So sad, Minneapolis. 14. And then it's now more than that. We'll get there. Again, we're going through an extreme change. I hope people understand that, right? That's kind of what I try to choose with the news, too. Stuff that sort of understands that or moves that forward. Maybe that's my agenda, sure. I mean, I'm not trying to hide it from anybody. I do think the world's changing. I think we're changing into a very awesome direction. I think we're going to go through a thing, and it'll be what it is. I'm hoping we awaken enough people, or help awaken, or give comfort to enough people that hiccup doesn't have to be as extreme. And so far, our path has shown less extreme events than have been prophesized. A lot of people, I think, and this is my take, guys, and trust me, throw my shit over the shoulder. I don't give a crap, right? That's totally, I would too. But most people that I hear talking about what's coming are people that are dialed into the old time frame, the old, it's not what's happening. It's not. And so I don't know if they're on that time frame, and maybe they're speaking to the people that are going to experience something different than the rest of us, or if they're just wrong and at some point they're going to fade off into existence. I don't know. But we are on this timeline that shows progression, that shows positivity. Now, the one thing I've talked about, and I'm not trying to get another commercial yet, but it's one of the reasons why it's so stuck. It's a confirmation bias I have. I'm going to call it what it is that the Fed's got to go. I mean, in my mind, it has to. Like, this is the part of the movie I'm watching, and I'm like, well, if this doesn't happen, this movie sucks balls. Like that, I will frickin' be pissed if this movie doesn't have that scene. Everything else can F off, pretty much. But that has to be there. Now, we've got news actually to talk about why it looks like that probably is the case. But we got to live through it, man. It sucks. Bull sucks. ICE is cracking down on app deliveries. They're going after the dudes riding scooters, which I find interesting. It's definitely a younger, typically a younger crowd. I think most of us older folks, you get on them, you're a little high centered. They're a little sketch. It's cool though. You know, I've ridden them a few times. Not the electric ones. Holy crap. My bike's electric. That's fun as hell. And it's a motorcycle. I'm sorry, I should say. I feel weird saying a motorcycle because if I go up to like the place up that all the motorcyclists go to, and I just roll up in my little roll into my little thing. Yeah, there's no way I have to leave my testicles there or my man card or something. And I don't have a lot of extra man cards. You only get so many a month. You know, you blow them out early, and it's like, the rest of the month I gotta like just not go out. Right? You're like, I'd like a kamikaze. Man card? Really? Fuck. I thought it was a good drink. Had strong alcohol. I'm kidding. I've never ordered one of those. Just for an example. I don't know. Trying to help. Brego Garcia, there's already a lawsuit saying you can't be deported. Already, you can't deport him. He's like, I'm going to be persecuted and tortured in Uganda. Nobody knows you in Uganda, or if they do, and the reason you're going to be tortured is because you are MS-13 or have the tattoos anyways. It's going to be an interesting thing. I don't know how we're going to send you to the Mars. Nobody there is going to give a crap. I don't know what's going to happen to that guy, but it's stupid. Another stupid thing that happened, and I really don't like this at all. 2 dead, 17 injured. There you go. 17 injured. Minneapolis, school shooting. I'm not going to play it. We know a little bit about the individual. It's very sad, very sad. I don't want to spend a lot of time on it. But yeah, guess what? Transgender. They were transgendering. They literally filed for their new name somewhere. I don't remember where I saw that. Also, there's a video. There's a video showing them. I'm not going to play it. I can't. I don't think I can. This is a video they took down on YouTube. Now, I know, like, I don't have that. I got, like, I don't know, probably about 3,000 views I get on YouTube. That's it. But, you know, it's 3,000 views. It's not a bad day at the office. This 11-minute video. It's a psychotic school shooter, right? So, Josh Walkos, XCOM Josh Walkos status. Josh Walkos. JOSHWALKOS. Go find him if you want to watch this. It's disturbing. It shows him walking through his arsenal, being, I don't know, seditious in his own way. I mean, the dude's obviously planning on dying. He wrote out his thing he's going to die. He even wrote when he was going to die. Like, he had the date in there. Here's the thing. State of Minnesota. He's a matter of application. I don't know who this is. This Mary Grace Westman. I don't know who that is. But on behalf of Robert Paul Westman for a change of name to Robin M. Westman. This was filed back in 2020, apparently January. Name change, right? Hopefully there's nothing in there that was, there's nothing in there that's bad. So, again, there's something going on with the people that are taking these drugs. These drugs are causing issues. Again, we talked about this already. I somehow had it in 2 places. That's smart on my part. That's, Donald Trump truthed this out about George Soros. He says, George Soros and his wonderful radical left son should be charged with RICO because of their support of violent protests and much more, all throughout the United States of America. We're not going to allow these lunatics to rip apart America anymore, never giving it so much a chance as to breathe and be free. Soros and his group of psychopaths have caused great damage to our country. That includes his crazy West Coast friends. Be careful. We're watching you. Thank you for your attention to this matter. He's saying, we see you, man. Keep it up, and you will be destroyed. By Donald Trump, not me. I have no abilities to do anything other than just mock you and make you sad and lose my Wise account because England can't handle anybody saying anything about this stupid, I can't tell if you're angry or not. Dude, you English people, you got to figure it out. Got to figure it out. You guys are like the last bastion. You guys are the ones that kind of conquered the whole world. So you kind of got this weird, nasty karma I think you're also dealing with as part of it. And so this whole idea of pretending it's not happening is not going to keep working. You're going to have to accept the fact that it is happening. Two largest teachers' unions are giving over $40 million to progressive causes. I just think this is... like if I was in a union and they were wasting money on shizzle that I thought was super stupid. Like, stupid's one thing. Super stupid. And this is that. The Trevor Project and LGBTQ plus suicide hotline, according to... like, why do you need to be paying for that, teachers' union? Why? I mean, seriously, because you've got so many of them in your ranks? Because of... so it points out something that's very wrong within the whole structure, and it's already being like a cancer. It's spreading, and people are afraid to say anything that are teachers. Oh, I can't say anything. I don't want to get in trouble. They'll kick me out. I won't get the good things. I won't get recess or whatever the fuck it is. As Hegseth presses to hold military accountable for Afghan debacle, a top general is coming into focus. It's Milley, by the way, just to save you from a very long article that I got like so far into it, and I'm like, are you shitting me? It's still not done? Milley. Fucking magic answer at the end of this one. Gosh, frick. That was a black hole, dude. I was like, I'm going to get out. Yeah, I can't. I went in circles, man. Venezuela accuses U.S. of nuclear violation. They said you can't have your nuclear ships and nuclear missiles so close to us. It's scaring us. Maduro's so bummed. Maduro. Just why you can't. I don't know if I got anything that's based in your country that you can shut down, but fuck you if I do. But yeah, there you go. Bye-bye. John Solomon. He's talking about more documents coming. We'll give him 50 seconds of our lives. He's got them, I think, coming tomorrow.
A second story will be by myself and my great colleague, Stephen Richards. In the morning, we're going to tell you that shortly after James Comey waved a magic wand and said that there would be no prosecution of Hillary Clinton for using a personal email server to move classified information to do government business on a private email server in violation of the rules and possibly of the law. His own FBI had a personal email problem. That's right. They were using personal email for a possible unauthorized leak to the media. You're going to see those documents for the first time tomorrow. We're going to write about it tomorrow. So two big accountability stories to kick off tomorrow morning's report. Be sure to check them out at justthenews.com or download the Just the News apps from the Apple App Store and the Android Google Play Store. Now,
I love how these guys can like predict the future, because I can't. The only future I can predict, if assuming it's there, is my Thursday show, Law of One, which is kind of crazy, but it's actually really cool. It's like if you were curious about, like, if anybody was giving us advice, like we got back during Christ times, like good advice on how to be better today. This was back in the 80s, but it's certainly along those lines. Now, again, it's a little woo. It's a little crazy, and there's a lot of people that get uneasy about it, but I don't think there's anything all that dangerous or dirty, and I do my best to explain it. We do open up to questions in the audience. It's a fun time. And in the future, it's likely going to spin into a follow-up Zoom meeting for maybe an hour or something after, just where people can show up, and I'll drop that in the chat when we do these lives. That's kind of a thought I've had. Someone brought it up. It's not a bad idea. So I might start doing that here in the very near term future. But we'll see how it plays out. But that said, yeah, there's live. Oh, yeah, music show. Doing oldies this week. I've talked about it already. But thank you, John Solomon, for knowing the future. Wow, how you do it is amazing. This was put out by who? The Justice Department. Race-based employment practices and policies in America's local and state agencies violate equal treatment under the law. Agencies that unlawfully use protected characteristics as a factor in employment and hiring risk serious legal consequences. You're not allowed to do that. You can't discriminate against somebody for it, and you can't discriminate for somebody with it. They're both the same. They're both wrong. I can't. It's such a cool time to be alive, guys. Oh, shucks, really long. So, well. The Trump administration's filed an appeal challenging the recent dismissal of its lawsuit, targeting the full federal judiciary in Maryland. So that whole thing got filed away. I think we knew that. I don't think that's the one I was thinking this was. This is the one it was. James Burnham put this out. Pam Bondi and SG Sauer have filed an emergency application in the Supreme Court regarding their huge win in the U.S. AID impoundment case, which we discussed previously. So I'm going to skinny this because it's really long and it's good, though. It's really good. You get James Burnham if you want to read the whole thing. Long story short, they are taking this to the Supreme Court because they want this to be decided once and for all. There is this jurisdiction, this issue with district courts thinking that they can act on behalf of small actors to represent and force billions of dollars, in this case, of funding to be pushed through. So one individual, and they're pushing as a remedy the entire amount of money, which is not just for their client, but everybody, which is so beyond ridiculous. So it calls all this stuff out. It's actually fascinating. So they want to get this kind of like in front of the Supreme Court to settle this for all the other district courts. And it seems that is going to be one of the big dang deals that we go through over the next period of time. Sorry to be so huge with my language. But they're going to see the Supreme Court define all these district courts. And if not, this even, maybe, I don't know if they're needed, the district courts. You got to wonder if they're even needed. But we're going to have this defined much better. Federal judge in Wisconsin has denied Milwaukee. Just think, if we can get rid of Jumanji, I'm just saying, so many things change. A federal judge in Wisconsin has denied Milwaukee County Circuit Judge Hannah Dugan. She had a motion to dismiss these federal charges alleging that she had concealed the undocumented immigrant to prevent his arrest by immigration authorities. But she did it because she was like a judge and she needed to judge up on him and do some judges stuff, get all judicious. And in that process, she's saying, hey, look, I was doing my job when I snuck him out the back. And they're like, yeah, no chance in hell. Nice. Thanks, though. Here's the home version, or the cell version, as they say, of this game. Bill Gates stops providing funds to foundation pushing woke causes. This is the most bizarre news that I saw today. It punched me in my my subconscious face, I think. It was weird. $77 billion. It's a fund, a $77 billion foundation. This is what he's been paying. And they're stopped providing grants to foundations managed by Arabella Advisors. Arabella is all sorts of bad. All sorts of bad. Horrible amounts of bad. They generally support health initiatives around the world, said it would not make any new investments with Arabella-related entities, would not extend any existing grants to the for-profit consulting firm, and would try to pursue early tariffs. Arabella is all bad. They're all bad. I don't want to get into proving it to you. There's people that have done it. I don't think I've got it open. There was a whole thing, super long. They just got defunded by Gates. That was the news to me. Huh? Really? You've stopped funding something that's evil? New camera. Right? Trump mulls travel ban for EU officials over the Orwellian censorship laws. Ursula von der Leyen may not be able to actually show up here anymore. Or Keir Starmer, you douche, because you kicked me off of Wise. Fuck you, fucker. You're a pussy. And your country's falling apart. I hope your people figure it out too, man. I don't want to push anything outside of that other than you are a fucker. I think that's a fair assessment. You guys would use the C word, and I would say the C word, but here in America, you got to duck because a frickin' shoe's coming your way. So you don't say that out loud anyways. Oh, thumbnail. Okay, so here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. How do you take control of something that's been privatized? The reason they privatized it's because it doesn't fall under FOIA. The second FOIA got kicked in, a lot of the special projects got pushed to companies. Most of us kind of understand that this has been following this for any length of time. But companies don't have to respond to FOIA requests, and companies can keep stuff secret because it's IP. And what we have now is a number of companies. Lockheed Martin's a great example. I'm not picking on anyone. I love Lockheed, actually. I love their stories. I've read a couple of them. Drawing blanks on people's names because I suck at names. But the whole Skunkworks project, moving on to what they've become probably today, we can only assume. We've had them come out and say, not only do we, know where E.T. lives or whatever, but we can send him home. We likely have technologies that are impressive. Now, does that necessarily mean spacecraft? Not necessarily. There's Stargate possibilities and other things, right? I don't want to assume anything. There's a lot of different ways this technology could happen. Wormholes and crazy stuff, right? And we figure out how to dial in the combination locker and we open it. It's like, like we saw, what was it, Men in Black? I don't know, one of them where they opened up a door and they were just a locker door on a big giant wall and a big giant somewhere, right? It's that concept that exists. And so we have the ability to combo into other places. Whether we're flat or whether we're round, it doesn't matter. This still exists. There's another flat or round place that you can go to. Just dial in the combo. So we've got a lot of technology that's tied up in corporations. Now, hopefully this isn't disappointing to the people that clickbaited onto me, and I apologize. But this is significant if you think about it. This is a very easy place for the president to say, we own 10% of you. Example, the chip maker, right? Intel. Trump owns 10%. Well, the United States owns 10% of that company. 10%. That's a huge share, I think big enough to get us on the board, which means we might find out about some things. This is the direction. You want a bunch of government money to do a bunch of government stuff? Then you give us some control of your company. Because frankly, you know too much. And I think Trump is literally moving us in that direction. Maybe you disagree. You guys can throw it in the comments. I'm curious. And certainly subscribe, thumbs up, especially if you like what I'm talking about right here.
Most countries in this world subsidize their important industries. And we are the least at that. We didn't tariff and protect, and we didn't subsidize. And what happened? We had a $1.2 trillion trade deficit that was exporting our economy to other people. Think about it. Here's one of my favorite statistics. In 1985, we owned $140 billion more assets in the rest of the world net than they owned of us. And today, the rest of the world owns $24 trillion more of America than we own of them. We have exported our money, and they are buying America out from under us. And Donald Trump is here to stop that leakage.
He is fixing a number of things. So we've got a huge leakage, like they say. And we also understand, I thought I had the story here. I thought it was. We've got essentially, what's his face here? Lutnick is talking about also buying the stocks. They did it with Intel. They're talking about doing it with other defense projects. So yes, we invest some money to make things, build things, come up with prototypes, but we get something in return. We get to understand, what do we actually have? Now, they've got to play it to the public like this. I mean, again, believe what you see. Jackson Hole parting advice. Accept even more migrants to offset demographic collapse is what we got from Powell. Literally, he's like, take in more migrants. This is what the dude's telling us as we're going into a labor shortage, they're thinking. So bring in more people. We've got a shrinkage of jobs, at least on the record right now, even though there's whatever. We'll see how it plays out. And here we are wanting what? To bring in more people that cost more money, cause more problems. So Powell is completely on the wrong side of the fence. I doubt he's going to change rates. I think he's going to leave them where they are. I really do. I think he's already made the justification. he's paying attention to it, he says. Yeah, well, no, I'm looking though. I don't think he's actually from Canada, so he wouldn't sound like that, but he's looking, but he's not going to touch. No looky, no touchy. Well, yes looky, no touchy. I guess that costs a little money. Fed issues statement over Trump firing of Governor Cook. Dems play race card, of course. So Lisa Cook has indicated through her personal attorney that she will promptly challenge this action in court and seek judicial blah, blah, blah. This is what the board says. As always, the Federal Reserve will abide by any court decision. And I don't know where they say. Anyway, Trump's pushing this. I don't care if the board, if they think it's racist. I don't give a crap what direction they're pushing it. She did mortgage fraud. Trump came out and basically said, look, you can't be like in charge of the monetary system, essentially mortgages in a larger sense, and actually have fraud and criminal prosecution on your background. That's not, like, again, these people are like, what? But it's a small thing. It's like, you are a giant person and you got small things on your record? Really? You're a cheater. We don't want cheaters. And yeah, I was thinking belly itchers, but that doesn't really tie into that. Commerce Secretary says Pentagon's weighing equity stakes in defense contractors. This is the story I was looking for a second ago. Sorry. Yeah, there's a lot of talk about this. Lockheed's one that's mentioned. There's a lot of money being spent, a lot of prototyping being done. There's a lot of money being shoved into their pockets. Hey, come back to us in a week and let us know. Hey, why don't we get some promises on that? Contractor, you're telling us it's $35 million to find out X. You guys are going over budget all the time, and nobody's calling you on it. All right, well, then here's the thing. We're going to get some stake in it until you show us the money, and then we'll give it back. I'm sure there's contractual stuff in there. But for the moment, on paper, we own a bunch of Intel stock. I think it's actually officially happened. And they're talking about some other stuff, too. Apple defies Trump with India production plans. Going to be continuing to produce in India. And Apple's just going to be like Apple. Again, I don't know. There's this weird part of me that's constantly been waiting for Apple to... They've taken apps off their store, but they put them back eventually. But there's been just this, all right, Apple's eventually going to do something that's going to piss off all the Apple users. Pretty sure. This one might be in that realm. Right now, India's paying 50% tariffs. So if they're going to make your iPhones are going to cost a bit more somehow. And this is Apple just I don't care. And they sell them other places, so maybe this keeps them relative, in other places. Who knows? All right, what numbers we got? Dow, let's just refresh, make it for sure. So that's not helpful. No, it's not. Dow Jones up 187, so 41%, right? We got gold's up $15, so gold's at 34.48. I think it went up, down. It's it's been bullshit, but it's up a little bit now. Cool. Where's silver? I'm curious about that always. Silver's up a little, 38.62. That's impressive. So again, stuff's happening. Stock market surges in China amid a weak economy. This is a big story. So I hope people don't dislike the fact that I talk about the Chinese economy. I feel like it is the second economy of the world. It is the other most important economy that's going on. Trump is literally at a trade war, financial war with the number 2 economy in the world so we can continue to dominate. So it matters. It might be boring, but it matters. And my delicious good friend, Tiffany Myers, is going to tell us about it.
China's stock market is soaring to levels not seen in more than a decade. Investors have poured more than $1 trillion into the Chinese stock market, chasing returns in an uncertain economy. But with weak growth and ongoing trade tensions with the U.S., some fear the surge won't last. We spoke with China economic analyst Antonio Graceffo for his insight on Beijing's economic outlook.
Yeah, the thing is that when the Chinese economy slows down, Chinese people are basically conditioned that investing is safety. So, for Americans and Europeans, we tend to invest more when the economy is doing well and we have more disposable income. With Chinese people, when they feel threatened, they run out and invest, right? Because you want to lock your money up in something safe. And normally that has been, or historically that has been real estate, but the real estate sector is so bad right now that they're not investing in that. So then your other options are you could put the money in the bank or put the money in the stock market. The problem with the bank is that the bank interest rates are so preposterously low that there's no advantage to putting your money there, and this is driving money into the stock market. Basically, it's going into the stock market because there's no other investment alternatives open to them.
And as cash floods into the Chinese stock market, a large portion of it isn't coming from savings, it's borrowed money. Investors are taking on debt to chase returns on investments. But the move is raising fears that if stock prices fall, it could set off a chain reaction of selling.
Right now, the total margin in China exceeds 1 trillion yuan. It's something like, it's very close to 300 billion US dollars in margin right now. So these are people that are essentially buying stock on credit because the stock market is appreciating at a much faster value than the interest on the debt, the money that they're borrowing to buy the stocks. But obviously, if those stocks start to come down in value, there will be a massive sell-off. And as there's a sell-off, then it's a race to the bottom. The stock price keeps dropping, people keep selling, and next thing you know, your margin call comes, your margin is due, and you owe more than the value of the stock.
While domestic investors in China are pouring money in, foreign investors are taking a different approach. Many are pulling back as China's economy slows due to its ongoing trade tensions with the U.S.
So if you're an investor that invests according to fundamentals, you would be pulling your money out of China because fundamentals keep getting worse and worse and worse. The trade tension being a big part of it, but just generally the Chinese economy has been slowing. Because of the tariffs, foreign direct investment in China is decreasing. Foreign companies in China are not expanding. There's any number of reasons not to invest in China anymore. And remember that a lot of the investment in China was because people wanted to manufacture in China and export to the United States. That's not really possible anymore.
China's stock market is seeing a surge driven by domestic investors at the moment, while foreign investors remain cautious. Analysts warn that the gains could be fragile. We'll keep a close eye on the upcoming trade negotiations between the U.S. and China and how it will impact Beijing's economy.
So the same exact thing happens there as happens here. The numbers lie. Everything suggests things are not good, yet numbers are going up. They've got a story to explain it, and maybe that's true even. It's the backwards programming they've done to us. So when things, at least in China, and we kind of do it here too, when things start to fall apart, we'll pump a bunch of money into this hoped outcome later on down the road. Now, us here in the States, we actually tend to rob from that. It's actually sort of an unfortunate backwards thinking. We're like, nah, I'm actually going to rob from my future to help my now. And so, different ways to look at the same problem, I guess. Gold and silver are up a bunch. Stock markets are not what everybody says. Mirren, this guy is talking about the reset to the Fed. This is one of the two dudes that are really up for the appointment to the Fed. And he is somebody that kind of represents the reset thought process. If we're going to reset to gold, even if we take the Federal Reserve note and reset it to gold, but we can't keep paying it 2%. It's got to be backed by something, and it's got to stop going to somebody else. I mean, literally 2% inflation is considered zero inflation. 2% inflation. Now, this article is awesome. It talks about sort of deflationary concepts that who knows how this plays out. And deflationary would be interesting in a sense. We're seeing some of that. It's not necessarily considered good, but at the same time, if you can deflate the money properly, the value is still there, and it's just getting people rewired to the new number, if you will. But again, how we play this process out is going to be fascinating. But I definitely think people are talking silver and gold, bigger numbers. Silver, too. This whole article talks about the different uses of it. What happened with lithium and uranium, when they became critical metals. Well, silver's a critical metal now, copper's a critical metal, so both of those are going to see extraordinarily high dollar amounts. 144 silver is around it. I think they hit 179 as one of the peak numbers. Silver's expected to go crazy. You want 10% free silver? You got a 401k? Seriously, you're attached to the dollar, you're attached to a stock. I don't believe in it. Now, Goldco, they just do what they do. They do really well what they do, but they don't have opinions like me, and they're not supposed to, I think, legally. I do. I have opinions. I don't trust the system. Goldco's an excellent way to get your money protected from the deep state or the system itself. If you've got a 401k or an IRA, up to 10% of the face value that you want to move over, could be all of it, but they recommend 50%. That's what most people do. Whatever. Get it all out, frankly. My opinion. Don't agree. Out. Tax-free, penalty-free. Plus, whatever the face value of that is, up to 10% free silver. Silver, talking right now, it's worth 38 and change. They're talking about $125+ silver. That'd be an enormous investment. You'd actually get a multiple on the value, which is kind of the thing that's funny. It talks about holding the value, which is what's fantastic. Gold's done that forever, traditionally. Silver's always been undervalued, but still cool. They're talking about getting some of that value back, and where it probably really should be, especially when manufacturing starts to happen. There might actually be a time in history where some of these manufacturers be like, we have a silver shortage. Anybody that's got it, we'll pay primary money on it. And you'd be like, I got some coins. It'll be a way to get around some of the nonsense. Trust me, there's a lot of ways baked into this. You own it. It's physical metal. It's put into a trust. This is a precious metals IRA. I just highly recommend getting out of their system. Goldco can make it happen quickly, tax-free, penalty-free, free silver, probably a free Ronald Reagan coin. I don't know if they're still doing that, but probably. Get an awesome Goldco book. I don't think it's got my picture on it, but it does here on the screen. 4 data points. I think you're going to get a phone call quickly, or they're going to even ask you to call. I think you get some cool benefit if you do that, which might be where the Ronald Reagan coin comes in. It's a half-ounce silver coin. It's kind of cool. This gets you out of the system, gets you protected. I don't know what else I can do. I'm in on this. Like I've picked up a little more silver, had a little extra money that I got put aside, and I was like, all right, let's do it. Let's get some more silver. Silver is underrated. You're going to get up to 10% free silver. DRSlikesgold.com. 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 Let my good friends at Goldco help you out. I love these guys. They are the best, and they will answer all your questions. Ask away. Ask away. They love it. RFK Jr. says HHS believes they have found interventions which caused massive spikes in autism in children. This is coming to an end. I'm going to kick this up a teeny notch. We're so long at this point. I apologize, guys. I know some of you guys don't care. Hopefully none of you do, but I figured, I don't know. I don't hear a lot of people bitch at me too much for being long, just that I talk too much. I feel like that's the other side of that. Whatever.
That's great, Bobby. Bobby, autism, if I could, I don't want to go too long because we have a lot of people, but the autism is such a tremendous horror show, what's happening in our country and some other countries, but mostly our country. How are you doing on that?
We are doing very well. We will have announcements as promised in September. We're finding certain interventions now that are clearly, almost certainly causing autism. And we're going to be able to address those in September.
It's such a big day. I'm looking forward to that day because there's something wrong when you see the kind of numbers that you have today versus 20 years ago. And those numbers, what are those numbers about?
Well, in 1970, the biggest epidemiological study in history was done in Wisconsin. They looked at 900,000 children, and they were looking for autism. They knew what it looked like, and they were very, very precise about it, and they found an incident rate of 0.7, in other words, less than 1 for every 10,000 children. Today, our most recent numbers are 1 every 31 kids. It's probably actually much worse than that because California, which has the best collection system, is reporting 1 out of every 19 children, American children, has autism, 1 in every 12.5 boys. So it's gone from less than 1 in 10,000 in 1970 to 1 in 12.5 boys.
Think of those numbers. So there has to be something artificially causing this, meaning a drug or something. And I know you're looking very strongly at different things, and I hope you can come out with that as soon as possible.
We will.
So 1 in 10,000 And now it's 1 in 31 or 34 or 12 if it's a boy. Can you imagine that? 1 in 12. That's for a boy.
On every 12.5
It's not even believable that could be. And that was 1 in 10,000 not so long ago. I've been hearing these numbers, and they get worse and worse every year. There's got to be something. I think there's nothing, including favored nations and everything else, there's nothing that can be, if you can find out the reason that that's happening, and I know we're going to do some things. I think we maybe know the reason, and I look forward to that press conference, to be with you on that press conference. That's going to be a great thing. Thank you, Bob. You're doing a great job.
That will be huge when that comes out. And all the people that are right now, like, been all, it's just science, follow the science. This is the science. This is the actual statistics that the drug companies haven't wanted us to talk about. It's not been the government per se. It's the drug companies paid the government people not to talk about this. And then they buy a bunch of advertising on all sorts of places, right? They go out of their way to keep people from being able to spread this. Hell, they probably even get involved in, channels like mine. There's weird experiences I have sometimes. Strange. Looking into teams at HHGov along with EdSec, MACMA. Oh, they're talking about food. Yeah, all right. They're talking about the food in schools. And this is a big one, I think, because we feed our kids trash and it's so heavily processed, and they've been constantly shifting it out to the cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. Oh, how much we're given this budget by the government, say, $100 per head. It's probably more than that, but whatever, $100 per head. What if I can feed them for $50 a head, right? And they do that for a few months, and then somebody comes up and they're like, no, we got fully processed foods. Most of it's not even food. We can do it for 40% of that money. And they're like, oh, you've got it. So they don't care about taking care of the children. They care about having the extra money left over. Now, what they do with that, I think they give it in salaries, or it gets drained out someplace else that's used inappropriately. Like, either way, whatever, depends on if anyone's strong enough or powerful enough to own it, essentially, like a governor or, somebody. They're smart enough. Ed Doherty posted this. Secretary Robert F. Kennedy, there's a leak, there's plans possibly of him revoking the COVID vax. We'll see. This did come out. U.S. regulators have approved updated COVID-19 shots Wednesday, but limited their use for many Americans and removed one of the 2 vaccines available for young children. The new shot from Pfizer, Moderna, and Novavax are approved for all seniors, but the Food and Drug Administration narrowed their use for younger adults and children to those with at least one high-risk health condition, such as asthma or obesity. Additionally, Pfizer's vaccine will no longer be available for any child under age of 5, after the FDA said it was revoking the shot's emergency authorization for that age group. Progress is being made, my friends. Promises made, promises kept. And that's exactly where we're heading. Brazilian prosecutors have urged heightened police surveillance. They're about to release their jurisdiction, their final phase of the Bolsonaro case. Obviously, Bolsonaro is going to be found guilty, I would say. I don't know what Trump's going to do. It's probably going to punish Brazil. This is going to be interesting how things get handled. But we are in interesting times, they would say. Australia's got some strange stuff going on. You got weird ambassador things going. They expelled Iranian ambassador in a historic first. They blame the IRGC for anti-Jewish attacks. All right, oops, that's not quite what I had in mind. They also are proposing a tax on spare bedrooms to ease housing shortages. Now, not necessarily directly tied to it, it's just the fact that it's Australia. 2 stories in a row. I got a good friend, Dirty Q. I hope your channel's doing well. Look for Dirty Q. I think it's dirty with a U even, D-U-R-T-Y. He's like Australian, so they spell things weird, I think, down there. They spell it differently down under. Down under. But, yeah, good guy. Australian experts propose tax on spare bedrooms. So if you're a family of 2, for example, you and a wife maybe, and you happen to have spare bedrooms in your house other than 2 bedrooms, I guess, they will charge you an extra tax for that, or they want to. This is the crazy stuff they're talking. And the reason they're doing it is not so they can get extra money as much as seems, but so they can get you to sell your house and downsize and give your house to, well, the state maybe, so they can use it for immigrants. Like, how you're getting more immigrants? Australia of all people too. You guys are the weird place where they just shipped people, right? They didn't give a shit about you. You guys were a land of criminals, for Christ's sake. That's why you've got the deadliest animals in the world. Intentionally stuck you in the scariest place. Who knows? Maybe that's the Garden of Eden. That wouldn't surprise me. World turned upside down a few times. Who knows? Right? You got the weirdest, freakiest shit there. Could be. Could be, folks. Everybody talks weird and they're like, that's not a mosquito, mate. This is a mosquito. Right? Like, I don't know. Soon. Something scary's flying around. U.S. ambassador slams France on anti-Semitism. Again, sparking diplomatic issues. There's some fun stuff going on, especially around the anti-Semitic. Like, you can't, like, and again, I don't have an issue with Jewish people at all. I don't honestly have an issue with any Arab or any sort of group of people at all as a race. Now, terrorist groups, yeah, I totally got a problem with. If you're going to call yourself that terrorist group and still be in that area because it's your terrorist group's area, or you can't leave or something, then you need to find a better way of communicating that, frankly. I get UN food's not coming in, so they're not allowed to. I think that's why Israel's trying to take over Gaza. But they're really sucky on the whole, that you killed a bunch of children war thing, right? Like the optics frequently are a little sucky. And I wish Israel's a little better at it. I feel like they supposedly, quote unquote, own the media, right? Like, what? They're not very good at that. So again, guys, either spice it up or, yeah, you're going to have a harder time in this country. Maybe you're supposed to. And because that seems to be the direction that things are starting to spin. And again, that's the question. Save Israel for last. It seems that's the direction we're heading in right now. It's building. Let's put it that way. I'm not passing judgment. Again, Jewish people are not the problem. There's a deep state component that's been there for a very long time. It's baked into the book. They're the chosen people. At least the ones that we need to be concerned about. U.S. ambassador slams France. Yeah, we got that. Denmark apologizes to Greenlanders. They literally gave them a bunch of ladies birth control pills that they didn't realize they were getting birth control pills. They thought they were getting vitamins or something. Yeah. Whoops. Sorry. Mass evacuations after India issued flood alert to Pakistan. So Pakistan, as I like to say it, was downriver from a giant dam in India. And India was going to release a bunch of the floodwaters because it was really bad and it was going to break otherwise and probably totally kill people. And they're like, hey, FYI, word to the wise, this river here is about to get crazy. We're about to kill a bunch of people, so you might want to get away from the river if you can. That'll commence in about 5 seconds. Beep. And then just, I don't think they started it maybe that quick. They gave a little bit of, they made it sound like, it was nice of us. Okay. I mean, you have to do that, man. That's like humans. Come on, dude. Turkey leading an effort to suspend Israel from the UN General Assembly. Again, the attacks seem to be elevating. World's largest sovereign wealth fund divests from Caterpillar because the Israeli Defense Forces have bought Caterpillar tractors and used them. So the world's largest sovereign wealth fund's like, we're not going to invest in you anymore because Israel uses you, because Israel buys from you, because you are a lot. Oh, man. So this is sanctions. This is how sanctions work, guys. Everyone expects sanctions to fix the problem. This is one world's largest sovereign wealth fund. They aren't going to be investing in Caterpillar. That'll be their loss, by the way. So anybody in their fund should consider moving. You've got a very political fund. Gaza Christians say Israel has told them to flee their churches, but they want to stay now. So we've got quote-unquote Greek Orthodox and Roman Catholic. There's probably some Russian Orthodox in there as well. They're considered Christians, by the way. Those are Christians from another place. Yeah, well, sure. They're kind of like a form of Catholic, too, so that's even a reason to hate them for some, right? Even though I was brought up Catholic, so they're saying. I'll throw myself on that thing. And he said, anywhere there, yeah. I don't know what the hell that was. Zelensky's like, oh, I don't need your guys' cruise missiles. We've invented our own. We've made one that's super good. It's long range. Russia's gonna shoot the shit this down. I get you. This, I don't know. Look at this giant thing it's got on the top of it. What the shit is this? This is like something you'd see at a tractor pull. What is this? This is out of control, right? That's an air intake, I guess, and hopefully that's the output. And this is some sort of, when it gets to hypersonic, this is the other engine. I don't know. Ballistic missile maybe back there. I mean, once this thing disconnects from the bottom stage, maybe this makes more sense. I doubt it still, but whatever. It's built like it's meant to fly that way. These things are definitely X-winged out, so I don't know. So he's got his own long-range, borderline hypersonic weapon that's going to get shot down easily. First time it's used. Exxon held secret talks to resume work with Russia. These balls are already rolling from the energy standpoint, so good and bad, I guess, right? We want these industries to get going, but at the same time, we need the war to stop. So a lot of problems going on there. Ukraine belatedly confirms Russian troops have breached Central Oblast and Industrial Heartland. Russia's pushed in even further. Of course, I don't want to say too many of these names because I'll jack them up, but the Dnipropetrovsk region, the Dnipropetrovsk, whatever. Tough words, man. You really got to commit to them. I feel like you do. The Zaporizhzhia or the Novogorod-Givka, the Novogorod-Givka. I don't know with the double I. I don't know how to pretend to say that one. That's pi, baby. That's what that is. Anyway, yeah. So shit's getting bad. Yeah, they're pushing further. I think as long as this war doesn't go, I mean, like, it's going to be bad, worse and worse and worse for Ukraine. And they're like, you got to give back all this land. And Russia's probably trying to go so far in that they can actually then give some land back and be like, all right, we'll give you some back. We're just going to go back to the original lines we drew in the first map we showed you that you guys hated. What about now, since we've taken over more land? Well, that map looks much better now. So I think that's where they're heading. Zelensky threatens future of friendship depends on Hungary's stance. So they keep blowing up this pipeline from Russia to Hungary that gives them oil, which is their, fuel and stuff. And Zelensky's like, hey, if you want to be friends, depends how you respond. And they're like, you keep blowing up our stuff. So what? Are we supposed to attack you? So I don't know what's going on. There's a great picture of him being all high. That dude looks high as a kite. Holy crap. Holy crap, I say. Drunk Ukrainian was apparently driving some big cargo ship into Seattle. He got busted after putting the thing into port. I mean, they get help once they get in close. He apparently got it in there. Nothing crazy happened other than someone smelled it on his breath. And then they went and tested him, and he was like 3 times the legal limit, 0.241. So bad news, Cochise. And so he's totally buzzed. He's like, nah, I'm fine. I wasn't drinking cough syrup or mouthwash, because I'm all about my teeth. I'm a sailor, scurvy and teeth. Those are the 2 things we worry about. I don't think so. I've never seen a pirate that gave a shit about their teeth. Of course, many of them are British, so you never know. That could be part of it. Anywho, yeah, he's in big trouble. Trump threatens sanctions if Russia doesn't agree to the ceasefire. So again, tough talk is coming. We'll see what happens. Terror on a Boeing 737 as the plane explosion forces pilot to make a hard landing. Apparently right after takeoff, one of the wheels blew. Wow. And they're like, ah! And they got all scared, and then they did an emergency landing. They were cool. They survived, but it's another weird thing. It was a Boeing plane. Users sue Amazon Prime Video for removing media purchases. So it's something to keep in mind. This is my recommendation always when I buy media myself. If you care, try it. I always get the physical media. And there's a lot of people that's like, but it takes up space, Dan. Does, but you own it forever. It's fantastic. Like literally, if things really, really get bad in the world, I've got so many cool DVDs. We can have movie night a few times a week, man. I've got some great movies. Some series, some movies. I'm telling you, you guys are going to be stoked that you know me. But If that's never a problem, then it won't matter. But the thing is, a lot of people have it on Amazon. They leave it on Amazon. And Amazon only leaves it there as long as they've got the contract with the company, which could be 3 months. So you pay money to own that. 3 months is up. Amazon's like, yep, sorry, we can't stream that anymore. And you lose it forever. So there's a suit going on. And I kind of wonder how that's going to work. I mean, Amazon's probably like, yeah, we'd love to be able to hold on to it forever. And a lot of I think ultimately what's going to happen is Amazon's going to have to specify that you're only getting access to this for this period of time. And you can watch it as many times as you want, but not forever. And so maybe that'll be the thing. We'll see. But it's a problem that many face. YouTube using AI to secretly create or alter creators' videos without their knowledge. Apparently it's trying to make them look better. I don't know what this is about. But many people are complaining. I think Rick Beato is one of the people complaining. He's got a great music show that I'm actually even aware of. That's kind of why I shared this. And he's like, yeah, this is like, it looked weird. And so he could tell it was like stuff was changing. It wasn't him. And they feel like it's making people, well, here's my kind of take on it. It's making people more comfortable with AI-generated stuff. They're trying to fudge with real stuff to make it look more AI so that AI stuff looks more real. That's what's happening. And of course, our good friends Google are directly involved with it, it seems. It seems. I don't know for sure. I'm just saying that's what it seems like because they're always involved. NVIDIA Jetson Thor unlocks real-time reasoning for general robotics and physical AI. They've got a new chip out. The Jetson Thor, I guess is what they're calling it. Super fast. They're thinking... one of the things, just, robots and stuff, they have sensors all over the place. Each sensor's got its own processors. It's got to process all the stuff it can process as fast as possible to be able to feed that back to the central processor that processes all the information, kind of like our brain, maybe, or our heart, or wherever the hell the center of our consciousness lies. But that same concept. They have to have a central point that can take in all the things at lightning fast speed and then be able to react on it in lightning fast speed. So these new chips are going to make it possible for all these little routines and subroutines to work properly. And they're talking hugely fast teraflop speeds, which is, I think it's to the 9th flops. Megaflop, petaflops like to the 12th. I think, is tera over or under peta? I forget. I'm sorry. I gotta go back to my thinking on that one. That one's, but still, yeah, it's giant. It's very fast. Super duper fast. We'll see what happens. It's kind of cool. Graphics cards and stuff's like so old school now. Now it's going to be like real life. I don't know if you guys heard Little Nas. He got arrested. He was naked. Well, mostly naked. He was wearing like underwear or something like that. And shoes. Because, you don't want to go walking around with no shoes on. It's stupid. Who does that? But he got arrested. Supposedly 4 felony charges. Apparently attacked some cops. Seemed to be under the influence. Walking around naked? Under the influence? I don't know. I didn't see that one coming. Did you? That was a shock. That was, what? He was under the influence? Whoa. Man, I thought he just got out of church. All said. He said some stupid comment about how the little girl's all right. Your girl is going to be okay, he said. She's going to be all right. My point in all this is just for the few of you that get how MK Ultra type, even though it's called something different now, MK Ultra programming kind of works. You break them into multiple personalities. This is one of the personalities popping out. So one of Lil Nas's personalities that he probably spends a lot of time as is a girl, probably, of whatever age, probably youngish, and probably very sexual. And that's how a lot of these persons get created. It's very strange. Again, I've just had a, let's call it a blessed life. It's not really true, but I've seen a lot of stuff. Been aware, been brought into, been aware, known people. I don't know. It's been strange. It's just been strange. It's like all I can say. Seems to be making sense at this point. This is my probably longest show. And some of it's the Mike Lindell stuff, whatever. I love it. I love you guys. Again, we've got so much going on. I'm going to try to get better at figuring out how to cut news. And I don't think I talked. Whatever. We'll get there. It's a learning experience constantly for all of us. I want to thank you guys for joining. I want to thank you guys for being a part of this, and I want to thank you guys for making the ripples you do and making the changes you are. And thank you, because I'm literally seeing the results of us doing our work, and it's pretty cool. A lot of people talking a lot of doom and gloom. We're helping shape that in a better direction, and I think we still get the desired outcome, but not with as much nasty on the side. You guys are the best. Where we go one, we go all. It's On the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle.